Requested if he mind such a sponsor should halt, he told, affirmative completely. I believe he's period. Love the alcoholic sponsor of the history. But in fact, down there is anything to halt alcoholic companies funding soccer teams in the British Prime League, it is downward to the clubs to select their sponsors. The regulation forbid the screen of all unpleasant, menacing, offensive, obscene, humiliating, discriminate or differently ethically or mentally unpleasant communication, or any policy communication. Yet, the just items particularly prohibited of creature promoted on kits are snuff means. Looking at Prime League jacket sponsors with the league began in 1992 tells us a lot on behavior to special means and the evolving economics. With the league begun, 60% of companies funding shirts include fall during 4 persons wide categories: finance, electronic equipment/technology, alcoholic, and gamble. While the Prime League begun, it was the big customer electronic equipment companies how dominated the sponsor. Abrupt would be Manchester Joint's sponsorship before 2000 time JVC displayed on stockpiles shirts before 1999. In 1995-96, that was the at first time of year while the Prime League was downward to 20 teams of the unique 22, part the clubs were sponsored by electronic equipment and technique companies, consisting AST Machine at Aston Country House, Hewlett-Packard at Tottenham, Sibling at Manchester Town and the software program and IT services business Sanderson, that sponsored both of Sheffield Environment and Southampton. But by the begin of the new millennium how had fall to 3 companies, and in the recent 10 change of seasons down there has been no more than rather than 1 business of the class per time of year. In spite how decrease, more than electronic equipment and technique companies include sponsored Prime League shirts rather than any some class, in 94 change of seasons among them. The other largest overall kind of jacket sponsorship is the finance segment, in 90 change of seasons of shirts. Down there has been a finance jacket sponsorship in the Prime League in all but 1 time of year. But the segment did not do a powerful begin in the new league, in Peterborough House Communities sponsor of Norwich Town Creature the just transactions in the at first 3 year, accompanied by SIS Insurance Coverage's sponsor of Blackburn. In the Nuff Ties, the deals begun house up, in the spike in 2010-11 in spite the finance meltdown. How year the overseas exchanging brokerage FX Pro sponsored both of Fulham and Aston Country House, it now sponsors Watford. Time Wonga was the sponsorship for Blackpool's just time of year in the Prime League. Northern Fate was Newcastle Joint's jacket sponsorship, in spite possessing been nationalised in 2008. It would stay so before January 2012, while it was replaced by Maiden Cash, that had purchased components of it by the government. The 2010-11 time of year was as well the year how Norm Chartered took above as Liverpool's sponsorship, that it has remained always with. The Prime League himself was sponsored by Carling of its other time of year before 2001, named as the FA Carling Premiership. Companies marketing alcohol drinks pointed comparatively previous in its story, but include been nearly always present, in just recent time of year and the one possessing no clubhouse sponsored by a drinks business. In full down there include been 62 change of seasons of alcoholic sponsor. The time of year in the greatest quantity of alcoholic sponsor deals was 1994-95 in 6, McEwen's at Blackburn, Coors at Chelsea, Carlsberg, that sponsored Liverpool for the at first 18 year of the Prime League, Newcastle Tan at Newcastle, Labatt's at Nottingham Wood and Holson at Spurs. Alcoholic sponsor went out of vogue in latter year, in Chong Ale's 13-year transactions in Everton Creature the league's just one following 2010. The big increase in gamble companies funding Prime League clubs shirts came following the Gamble Act 2005 permitted them to promote on TV and wireless for the at first period. But gamble companies had promoted on shirts in the Prime League up later, in Betfair emerging on Fulham's shirts in 2002-03 and 888 funding Middlesbrough in 2004-05 and 2005-06. They include Lost of Force to Force with later, and in the history 10 change of seasons, a third of jacket sponsors include been gamble companies. The spike was in 2016 to 17, while part of clubs had a gamble business as their jacket sponsors. Down there include been 79 change of seasons of gamble sponsored generally. Labour's Vice Lead Tom Watson has incorporated how annexed Labour by the government would ban gamble companies of funding Prime League teams. The Prime League answered by expressive fact verify how its clubs had ever done. Certainly they accompanied the regulation in the gamble instrument. We stretched our own wager rules, consisting the ban on wager on soccer to nobody work for the Prime League and its clubs, and superior our tracking of consistency issues. We as well stay completely devoted to the Advertisement Productions Guide on wager advertisement. Down there are more stringent rules for clubs, youthful teams comprising completely of players by the age of 18, that may not carry shirts. Advertisement year restricted means such as alcoholic or gamble. Copy shirts in younger sizes are as well prohibited of transport such a sponsor, so they are each done out of it, as in Western Bacon, or include and completely various sponsorship, as in Wolves. An honorable refer goes to telecoms companies, that were especially so represented at the rotate of the millennium. They pointed at 6 deals in 2002-03 while O2 was funding Stockpile and Vodafone emerging on Manchester joint shirts. Automobile companies had their big year in 1999-00, in 5 deals, consisting Subaru at Coventry Town, Autoglass at Chelsea and Car Representative Office Reg Vardy at Sunderland. Down there are as well a few exciting companies in the various kernel firms how were the just representatives of their industries to sponsorship a Prime League jacket. These involve Draper Toolkit, that sponsored Southampton in 1992-93 and the toy business Tie, renowned for pleasant toys in Big Eyes, that sponsored Portsmouth for 2 change of seasons. Waitrose was the just superstore to sponsorship a Prime League jacket while it emerging on the Reed kit in 2012-13 time Corona Paints 3-year transactions in Blackburn of 2008-09 was the just one of its segment, though the business as well sponsored Liverpool in the Old at First department. And I believe we'll include to expect a length period to see arrival of Washbasin funding a Prime League jacket once again, it emerging on the shirts of Sheffield Joint in 1992-93 and 1993-94. He's a wood trader.